the listener, the one who creates information flow, lowers hierarchy, opens up the floor for discussion, allows diversity. So, like you're more the mediator than the authoritarian leader in that way.
There is two topics where I basically think about this a lot every week.
Yes.
How challenging do we formulate it right now? The
Right.
first one is when companies say, can you help us become agile?
Yes.
Can we reorganize in a way that we have cross-functional teams and we are faster and more customer-oriented? And I think, can I say what I think at the moment? You shouldn't reorganize. You should just disorganize.
Yes.
Just stop this whole legacy organization and start small ones, new ones. Because I will make a lot of money the next 3 years if we reorganize,
Right.
but it's so much effort and the structures are so solid, it would be much easier to start from scratch.
Right.
And then the second part is this technology and disruption part, where especially in Austria, I'm talking to people who say, where will the drones come in? And they say, oh, that's in 15 years. And I say, oh, okay. And how is this process look like when it's automized? And then they say, oh, that's in 10 years. And I'm like, should I tell you that it's going to happen much faster than in 10 years? That
Yeah.
it's here already. It's not in the room, but it's here. And so how do you balance that?
Well, I try to do it with a best practice in the coaching profession, with contracting, with very clear contracting. You know, when I contract for a coaching topic, I try not to tell. I try not to give expert advice, but to develop the thought of my client. Yeah, and sometimes, as you say, it reaches these areas where you believe that assumption might be very easy to challenge. That I change the contract and I say, okay, let's get out of our coaching topic. What I would like now to do is, or where would you like to follow now in an expert coaching or in a career advice? Should we elaborate on that topic? And then I go into a new contract, and in that contract, it's possible to do that. You know, and then you discuss what I read in the Harvard Business Review, what I read, what I hear from my other clients, and then you go into a discussion, and you challenge. You know, do you really believe as a CEO that you have these 10 years? Do you really believe? I mean, are there other voices in your company? And then you can go there. But I try to do it via different contracts.
So you calibrate and renegotiate the role, or really like the actual contract on paper?
Well, you know, you contract on paper for the whole 10 sessions, for example, over a period of 3 months, 3-4 months. But then, of course, you recontract
every single
each
session,
session, because sometimes a coachee comes in and says, Lars, today I want to talk about this special thing. You know, you cannot imagine what happened to me. And sometimes you recontract within the session. So it's different. But this was very peculiar in Ashridge to be very clear on your contracting practice. And this I became a part of mine.
What about technological disruption? You had 4 academic careers.
Yes, so far. Yeah.
And what's your take on young people and how they approach their job seeking right now?
Well, I don't know if it's so much a question of disruption. It's rather a question of how bad we did it in the past. Yeah, I learned Latin and Old Greek for each 8 years, which was interesting. Yeah. But in my current life, it carries a lot of weight in the humanistic thinking. But what I want to say, the paradigm of my education was that of my grandparents. Yeah, we believe that studying this will be very make us wise people, I believe.
Yeah, you will be a great doctor. Then.
A great doctor. So I mean, I don't want to devaluate it, yeah, but much more concrete. When I work with men and women around 50, you know, they had quite stringent careers with some paradigms. You should stay in each session, in each position, 5 to 7 years. You should not jump too often, because then you're a job hopper. You should work very hard when you're from you know, study quick and then work very hard, and house, family, blah blah blah. And with 50 you try to retire. Big corporations are safe. Self-employment is insecure.
Risky, yeah.
It's risky. So these, you know, these beliefs, and then and I'm very happy, because I have in my profession at the universities, I come in contact with young people, and for my children as well, I realize they should be playful until 30, do different studies, try things out, work in between, travel, be curious on the world. I mean, you know, diligent, disciplined, hard-driven, but playful. And only start the serious business of family and a full-time job in their 30s, yeah, and later. And then they have the competencies, I believe, or they train much better the competencies. What I see, what makes senior managers and C-level successful these days. The mediator of the power, you know, the listener, the one who creates information flow, lowers hierarchy, opens up the floor for discussion, allows diversity. So, like you're more the mediator than the authoritarian leader in that way. And this mediation, this accepting human nature, this being close to people, liking the conflict, being able to contain the conflict. These skills you learn out of the playfulness in the early years and mingling with different people.
And you have to be very sure of your position in the world and in life and in that context to allow that diversity and complexity to unfold, right?
Exactly. And here I also realize my limitations as a father, being raised in this other paradigm, you know, pushing my children towards performance, towards reaching the first professional goal quickly, going into these big brands that where you work 14, 16 hours. I had this still in mind, you know, unconsciously when I gave them when I gave them advice or when I tried to steer them, and I realized a huge pushback from them, and right so, because it does not fit anymore. When playfulness, when trying out, when finding your role, as you say, Simon, finding your role in the world before you really start the performance phase, yeah, I have to rethink it.
I think we have a couple of things in common. First is we are both dads, and also we took a long time to find our market position, our strength, our true voice.
Yes,
I saw from a jazz musician's a quote which was beautiful. It says, "Man, sometimes it takes me a long time to sound like myself." And I thought about me, because it took me 35 years to find the right spot, to be finally freelance and to go all in on that.
Yes.
But I had, I don't know, 25 years of experimenting different contexts and different things until to get there. How was your path?
See, but I think you're lucky. You were very fast. It took me much longer. Yeah. And funny, I have a déjà vu, because on Monday I was in Barcelona with the coaches of IESE. And we are around 20, 25 international coaches. It's a very nice community. And we took the chance to all come to Barcelona and to talk about ourselves, to present ourselves 5 to 10 minutes to the team. And I thought, how do I start? And then it came to me that I said, you know, my family, my original family comes from Estonia, and it was an aristocratic country people. And they had only 3 professions. They were soldiers, they run the estate, or they were priests. And so out of that heritage, I came to Vienna as a refugee, in a refugee family. I was not a refugee, of course, but my grandparents. And so what did I started as a soldier, of course. It was so close to my heritage. Yeah? So I was 2 years with the Austrian army in Austria and in Cyprus. And then I realized this is exactly not the place where I belong. Yeah? And it took me really 8 completely different professions and 4 different master studies to reach my vocation. And I reached it with 48. Yeah, with 48, I made myself self-employed as a business coach. And since then, my learning curve, my happiness, my satisfaction, the mastering new situations has increased vastly.